Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com.
If this is my laptop, on my laptop, what is the first step I will do is install Terraform on my laptop. Okay. Then once I install Terraform on my laptop, I need to download the Terraform templates on my laptop given by Pivotal and execute the templates. These templates will create all the necessary stuff on, let's say, Google Cloud, right? And then it will create one more VM automatically called as Operations Manager, or we simply call it as Ops Manager, Operations Manager. So Operations Manager VM will be automatically created whenever I execute Terraform templates, right? Now this Operations Manager will be having a web UI, web application. That means a web UI, and it will also be having Bash CLI, right? So now Operations Manager, as it is a web application, it will have a browser-based UI. So once I hit a browser-based UI, the request will go to Ops Manager, and I will be able to see the UI of Ops Manager, right? So how it looks like, I have already installed Ops Manager. So I will show you how my Ops Manager is looking like. Actually, who will install this Ops Manager and all? Your administrator. So developer will not be doing it, right? So I am not going to show you how I have installed all this, but I want you to visualize and know all the concepts. So I will show you my Ops Manager, okay?
So, Shiva, where is this VM? Is it on the cloud right now? This Ops Manager VM that you.
Yeah. See what? Actually, let's assume that I decided to use Google Cloud for my whole installation. So what I have to do is I have to download Terraform for GCP. Then execute the Terraform templates.
Okay.
In this templates, I have to give the information about my GCP credentials, etc. So Terraform will connect to Google Cloud and will install Operations Manager VM on Google Cloud. It is on the Google Cloud. Okay. Actually, I have installed everything on Google Cloud. I'll show you my installation, right? So this is the URL of my Ops Manager. This is how it looks like. Actually, AlgoRobo, actually somehow I have purchased this domain. This is my own domain. I purchased algorobo.in and pcf. I gave my environment name as Siva env. pcf.sivaenv.algorobo.in. This is the Ops Manager UI. This is how it looks like. Initially, this icon will not be there. For the first time, whenever I have installed using Terraform, this icon will not be there. Only this will be there. Actually, you asked me where is that running, right? So let me show you. I have my Google Cloud.
Shiva, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Shiva, Sadish here. So my question is like, can you please walk us through creating an application and assuming that you are going to be deploy that in a bare metal server in a enterprise data center? Then we will talk about how we are going to deploy that in any cloud solutions like the cloud provider available in the market like AWS or GCP or wherever we wanted to go. Can you please walk us through this way?
I didn't get you. You want me to run an application on a normal on my machine?
No. My question is, you are explaining when you create an application and you wanted to deploy that using Cloud Foundry, which is hosted on some Google Cloud or somewhere, how you will automate that with Terraform and things like that. So we wanted to come down within an organization boundary. So assume that an enterprise is hosting some application using PCF and they wanted to deploy it in their own data center. Okay, this is the scenario. So explain us how we can do that. Then we will move that to public cloud.
Yeah, sure. Okay, there's a small change which I need to make in my discussion. So let's assume that you want Cloud Foundry within your organization data center, right? So in your data center, let's assume that this is your data center. How you can virtualize your data center? You have big server machines like ESXi servers and all. How you can virtualize your data center? You might be having a lot of other tools. One of the tool is VMware vSphere or vCenter. So let's assume that I have vCenter installed in my data center, right? So who is my infrastructure provider? Now, whenever I want a VM to be created in, whenever I want a VM to be created inside my data center, I have to ask the vCenter through what? Normally, there's a client called as vSphere. Manually, if we are doing, vSphere is a client through which we can talk to vCenter, and vCenter will create a VM and give it to us. Now, in this case, who is the infrastructure provider? vCenter will be your infrastructure provider, IaaS. Okay. So, infrastructure provider can be either AWS or GCP or your vCenter, vSphere. So any of the infrastructure provider, right? Now, if you are using vSphere, there is no Terraform template. There is no Terraform template for vSphere. So your vSphere administrator has to provision this Bosch VM. Sorry, yeah, has to provision. Where is this? Sorry, 1 minute. Your vSphere administrator has to provision this ops manager using a image, vSphere image, vCenter image, right? So using that, he will manually provision it. Only for clouds like GCP or AWS, there are Terraform templates provided by Cloud Foundry, right? So only this step, installation of ops manager, will differ based on your infrastructure as service provider. Later, whatever steps I'm going to discuss are common. Whether you are going to install Cloud Foundry on Google Cloud or AWS or your own data center using vCenter or some other tool, rest of the steps will be common. Only step which will be differing is how you install Ops Manager VM, right? And how these networks, subnetworks, firewalls, load balancers, how this will be created. Normally in your data center, these all networks, subnetworks, firewalls, load balancers, all these will be created by your vCenter or vSphere administrator. And your once this all setup is done, right, the administrator has to install a VM with Ops Manager inside it using an image provided by PCF. That is the difference. Is it clear, Satish? Now, any queries you can raise now. So it doesn't matter on what infrastructure?
Yeah, that explains a little bit, but I am interested to know what are the various ways that you can build a cluster in your data center so that you can host your pivotal applications.
Sorry, you are asking how do I create?
No, I'm not asking how do I create. What are the ways we can cluster that whatever you are calling it, vSphere or vCenter or ESI, ESX.
Hey viewers, our Mastery in DevOps engineering program can help you to hone the skills necessary to succeed in high-level DevOps positions. So what are you waiting for? Enroll now and earn certification that show you are keeping pace with today's technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
I am asking those possibilities, like what are the ways we can have that provisioned in our enterprise hosted data center.
See, this provision again, whenever your administrator is provisioning this, your provisioning in your data center, let's assume that you have one data center or multiple data centers. You can virtualize all of your data centers. So your administrator will have to define the boundaries or called as zones basically. So if you're having a single data center, it is your vSphere administrator who will actually decide what is your logical boundary of zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, and he has to create a cluster using vCenter specifying whatever zones required. So this is not this is at the infrastructure level, which your administrator has to decide how your cluster has to be created, how your cluster has to be spanning across zones, what is the logical boundary of a zone. Everything your vSphere administrator will configure, right? So as far as PCF is concerned, it is on top of your infrastructure. The infrastructure should be provisioned by your vSphere administrator. So you mean to say how the zones and all, right? Is that your question?
No, I'm not going for zones yet. And no, Shiva, I'm not going for zones. How do you manage zones like we do in AWS or any other cloud solutions? But I am asking, like you mentioned, vSphere, and is there once the pivotal occurs, is that the only way that can be utilized, or is there any other components involved? That's my question.
No, see, Pivotal does not mandate any infrastructure. Pivotal Cloud Foundry can be installed on top of any infrastructure provider. So in this case, I'm giving an example of vCenter as your infrastructure provider, but there are a lot of other tools also. How they provision, how your administrator provisions your data center, it is up to your administrator. So for talking to any infrastructure provider, there will be an API. So our PCF will use that API. It is agnostic to the infrastructure. So our PCF will use the API to talk to either vCenter or some other infrastructure provider. So we don't bother about how the infrastructure is provisioned. It's up to your administrator how to provision it. Okay.
Okay, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. So maybe you'll get more clarity once I go further. So why I'm saying at this point, maybe a little bit of confusion might be there in your mind. So let me proceed then. So what I have, Ops Manager VM provisioned, and this is how my Ops Manager UI will look like. But where is this VM, right? So, right, yeah, where is this VM? See, this is my Google console. I have used GCP. This is my Google console. I have logged in with my account, and I am in Compute Engine Virtual Machines. Here is my Ops Manager, Siva ENV Ops Manager, running in a zone called as US East 1C zone. I have installed I have installed my Cloud Foundry in a region called as US East 1, and this Ops Manager is in a region called as US East 1C, right? So this is the VM provisioned through provisioned through Terraform templates, okay? And this is the UI. Initially, there will be an icon called as BOSH Director for GCP, which will be in orange color initially. This icon will not be there initially. So what I have to do as an administrator is I have to click on it, and I have to give the information about my Google project, all this configuration about networks, all this information I have to give. And what I have to do is, once I give all this, I'll go to installation dashboard, review pending changes, and then initially there will be only BOSH that we had apply changes. So through the UI, I configure and apply changes. The request will now go to the web application. This web application is going to create a .yml file based on whatever information I give here. Right? See, through the UI, I'm giving in a lot of tabs, a lot of information, right? All this information, whatever I give here, I gave a lot of information. With using all this information, it will create a YML file, and then this Ops Manager application will use a BOSH CLI to create one more VM called as BOSH Director VM or BOSH VM. BOSH VM, I say. So inside this, we have BOSH Director, CPI, Health Monitor, all these components. So BOSH VM is launched through the UI. Whereas earlier, how did I launch this VM? Through CLI. I need to manually create this YML, and through the CLI, I need to manually install the BOSH VM. But now if I'm using Pivotal Cloud Foundry, using Terraform template, once I applied it, I got this VM created. Then through the web application UI, I configure everything and apply changes, the BOSH VM gets created. Then what I have done is, I have gone to network.pivotal.io, and this is like a repository of all the softwares of Pivotal. And here I'll search for Tanzu application service for VMs. So Tanzu application service, actually earlier name for it was Pivotal application service. After VMware acquired the ownership of Pivotal, they have renamed Pivotal application service as Tanzu application service, right? So whenever I say Tanzu application service or Pivotal application service, both are same. There's a new name, Tanzu application service. Now here is something called as PaaS, small footprint PaaS, or Pivotal application service. Let's say this one, Pivotal application service. This is almost 10 GB in size. I have to download this file, right? And once I download it, I have to upload it here. Let me show you. I have to click on import on the Ops Manager. I have to upload it to the Ops Manager. Once I upload, this icon will be visualized. It will be appearing. Small footprint VMware Tanzu application service. This will be appearing, which will be orange in color. Now here I have to click on this. It will ask for a lot of details on the UI. There are some defaults. I have to give the information whatever is asked here, then apply changes, right? So through the browser, I configured pass, apply changes, the request will go to web application. Based on whatever configuration I have done, it will create another new YML file, and using BOSH CLI, it will make a request to BOSH director, and through BOSH director, all the VMs are.
Hey viewers, trying to get into DevSecOps? Enroll for our DevSecOps certified professional programs and earn the certification that shows you are fit for these technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Created. That's how the installation of Cloud Foundry will be done if I am using Pivotal Cloud Foundry. Okay, any doubts, let me know till now. So everything we do it through the UI called as Operations Manager UI. This is the UI, and remember, this is not for developers, this is for your administrator. But why I told you for developers is you should be knowing all the terminology, all the concepts. Don't worry, once you are aware of this, all the developer related topics, whatever are going to come next, will go on very quickly without any questions. You will not even get a single question. Automatically, everything you will be able to visualize. Yes, I understand that I have spent a lot of time in explaining, taking you up to this point, but the ground is set. Most of the questions which you will get into your mind, which will not be clear, everything will be clear by using these diagrammatic representations. So that's why I have spent time. Don't worry, I'm not at all deviating from the topics. I know what is required for me to make you understand. These all are required. See, I could tell Cloud Foundry very simply. Cloud Foundry as a developer, you should just know a couple of handful commands: CF push, CF scale, CF logs. If you know that command, I can say that you know Cloud Foundry. But I am telling all this so that you will be able to visualize, and if there are any problems later when you are working on it, you will understand or pinpoint where might be the problem, right? So that is the reason why I'm spending more time on the basics. Once your foundation is strong, later concepts are very, very easy. You'll feel it. Once I go to the actual concepts, you'll feel the easiness once you understand it. Don't worry, I'm not deviating at all. Just concentrate and understand whether these concepts are clear or not. I'll spend some more time to listen for your queries. Yep, let us discuss if you have any queries.
So Shiva, once again, the first in the UI, you had the first icon, right? That is to create the BOSH VM, is it?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Can you go back to the slide before this? I just want to visualize that. You had a BOSH VM and you had
BOSH.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so the middle portion is what is happening in the first icon, correct?
So
okay.
If I am not using Cloud Foundry, how do I get this VM?
Through the yeah. Okay.
I have to manually write this YML file which contains all the details. Through CLI, if I fire a command, this VM will get provisioned. And in this case, I have to actually create on Google Cloud or AWS or whatever. We have to create all the network, subnetwork, firewalls, load balancers, all this. But if we are using Pivotal Cloud Foundry, it gives us Terraform templates. Terraform, we have to decide, I want to install Cloud Foundry on GCP or AWS. I have to download the corresponding templates on my laptop. And in the templates, there will be some holders, where we have to give the details and apply the Terraform template. Once applied, I'll get the VM. Which VM is it? See, this is Ops Manager VM. This is not BOSH VM. This is an Operations Manager VM, which contains a web application and CLI. That's all. CLI. Now what? For this web application, we have a UI where this icon will be there already. Here, this will be in orange color. I click on it. Orange color means it is not configured. I click on it. Whatever information we were earlier giving using the YML file, we really difficult to write this YML file. Whatever we were doing earlier, we do it through the web UI in all these tabs. Okay, and then apply changes. Once I apply changes, one more VM called as BOSH VM will be created. Okay, you can see here in my Google Cloud. Actually, there's a deployment with name p-BOSH here. There's a label. This is my BOSH VM. Okay. Now, once I have installed BOSH VM, there are other VMs, right? These all other VMs, whatever you are seeing, are installed through BOSH. How? I went to network.pivotal.io, downloaded small footprint pass. Actually, there is a difference between small footprint pass and pass. Actually, if I'm using pass, right? For each and every component, there will be separate VM. Approximately 40 VMs will be created if I install this Pivotal application service. Approximately 40 VMs. But my infrastructure cost will shoot up, right? So normally for doing any POCs or whenever you are installing Cloud Foundry for your development purpose or so, small footprint pass is recommended. What it will do is, it will merge 2 or 3 VMs into 2 or 3 components into a single VM. Like for an example, when I'm installing small footprint, what will happen is, yeah, where is it? Yeah, 1 minute. 1 minute. Yeah. So when I'm using small footprint pass, what might happen? These 3 components will be merged into one VM itself, so that the number of VMs will be reduced. Infrastructure cost can be reduced. So that's the reason why you are seeing here. How many VMs are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is BOSH VM, 8 other VMs. So my whole Cloud Foundry is within these 8 VMs. Actually, if I have installed Pivotal application service, I could have seen approximately more than 35 or 40 VMs approximately, right? So normally for POCs, for development environment, this small footprint pass is recommended. That's what I have installed. Okay, then that's fine. We have Cloud Foundry VMs running and Cloud Foundry running, right? Now this is my Ops Manager. In Ops Manager, this also got installed, right? Now once the installation is done, let me just make you visualize one more thing. Once installation is done, this is my Cloud Foundry. These are cells. And I told you that there will be a router also, right? So during my installation, I have to tell what will be my system domain and what will be my apps domain. Actually, what I have done is, in my GoDaddy account, I purchased a domain called as algo robo.in. This was my domain which I purchased. And I gave my environment name during installation as siva-env. star.sys.siva-env.algorobo.in. This is going to be my system domain. And star.apps.siva-env.algorobo.in. This is going to be my apps domain, I told you, right? So these are the two domains. Now, where did I give this information actually? If you see my ops manager.
Hey viewers, are you looking for formal training on SRE practices? Take our SRE program. This course will teach you how to successfully implement site reliability engineering in the modern day 24/7 services. Kickstart your SRE training today. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
In the small footprint task, Tango application service, here I have specified the domains. sys.siva-env.algorobo.in. This is going to be my system domain. apps.siva-env.algorobo.in. This is going to be my apps domain, right? So now, once the installation is done, all the VMs like Cloud Controller VM, CC Bridge, BBS, Auctioneer, Converger, all the VMs are installed. What the installation will do is it will automatically push one app called as Apps Manager into the Cloud Foundry itself. Apps Manager. Apps Manager is an application which will be running in in the containers of your cells. Who will actually push this application? After the installation is done for Pivotal Cloud Foundry, this app will be automatically pushed to Cloud Foundry, right? What will be the URL to access it? Actually, this app belongs to the system itself, right? So apps.system domain. Apps.system domain is the URL. So let me hit the UI of Apps Manager. So let me hit it. Yes, apps.sys.siva-env.c. This is my URL. It automatically redirected to login page. I have to log in, right? So this is my Apps Manager UI. What is the URL? apps.sys. This is a URL. This is the URL apps.sys. This is system domain. This is URL of my Apps Manager, and it is asking me for logging in. Actually, once the installation is done, there will be one root user called as administrator, admin. Only one user will be there, admin user will be there. How to get the username and password? Password for that admin. What I'll do is I'll go to my Ops Manager. Here I'm in this Tango application service, and here there's a tab called as credentials. Actually, Ops Manager has created a lot of VMs and applications, right? The credentials will be available here. If I go down, there will be credentials for UAA admin credentials. Here I'll click on the link to credentials. Here is the username is admin, and this is the password. Okay. So I'll copy this and I'll log in. Oh, sorry. I'll copy this and I'll log in as admin, and password I'll paste. Login. So this is the UI of Apps Manager. Okay. I am logged into Apps Manager, and Apps Manager is for developers. Developers use this Apps Manager. Ops Manager, whatever I showed you, it is for operators. It is for your administrators. You won't be working on it. Okay, what is this UAA? In Cloud Foundry, I told you that there are a lot of VMs, right? One of the VM will be containing something called as UAA, User Accounts and Authentication. It is nothing but an OAuth server, which is used for authentication. So internally, Cloud Foundry uses a server called as UAA, User Accounts and Authentication, which is a OAuth server. So when I try to log in, when I try to hit my Apps Manager, I was redirected to the login page of the UAA server. That's where I gave credentials, right? Now let us try to understand few more things, right? Before I go into development. Now the installation is done. Let's assume that in your organization, in your Hexaware organization, there are a lot of projects, and there are a lot of projects who wants to deploy their applications on Cloud Foundry. Let's say you're developing a product, right? And all of your products they won't deploy on Cloud Foundry. There are projects, a lot of projects. So for each project, do you want a separate installation of Cloud Foundry? Too much. Licensing cost will be high, infrastructure cost will be high. So what we do is, for each project, we don't have a separate Cloud Foundry installation. PCF is multi-tenant cloud. So what you do is, actually, see, there is only one admin user initially after installation, right? This admin user, what he can do is, he can create a quota first. Whenever a quota is getting created, he can decide how much memory, etc., to be allocated. Then once he creates a quota, he can create something called as organization. Let's say RGA. For RGA, he can assign this quota with some, say, 2 GB memory or 20 GB memory. Okay. So ArgB, he can allocate some memory quota. That means what I can do is, for project 1 or product 1 in your organization, you can give, okay, use this organization. For project 2, use this organization. For each organization, a quota has been allocated. Okay. Under organizations, what we again do is, we create something called as spaces. Spaces like development space, production space, UAT space, whatever environments, like we can say. Again, this whole organization is having 20 GB, right? So what you can do, you can allocate, say, 5G to development, 10G production, etc. Again, each space can be allocated some quota, right? Then your applications will be deployed to a particular space, dev space or production space. So applications getting deployed to dev space can use maximum up to the allocated quota, right? So we are logically dividing our whole infrastructure into organization, and each organization is allocated some quota, right? Each organization is allocated with some quota. Now, let me show you. What I have done is, actually, I have logged in as admin, right? Admin user. I have created lot of organizations. You can see org 10, user 10 or user 11 or 12 or 13 or like that. I have created organizations for 22 users. User 22 org is there, right? For each organization, how much is a quota allocated? You can see 2 GB is a quota allocated, right? And I'll go to one of the organization. If I go to one of the organization, I have created a space. Only one space is there, and I allocated 2 GB, entire 2 GB to that space, right? So I can deploy applications up to 2 GB only in this space, right? And one more thing I want to show you, where are my applications going to get deployed in PCF? On the cells, right? When I'm saying memory, when I'm allocating quota to the applications, that is for the cells, right? Now, let me show you my ops manager. See, this is my small footprint, right? I'll go down and here I'll show you resource config. Yeah, here you can see there is a configuration for compute instances. Compute instances are nothing but cells. How many cells I configure right now? 2. 2 cells I configured. I can select how many ever cells I want. For my installation, I configured 2 cells, and I've configured what type of machine is it. It is having 8 GB, 8 CPUs, 32 GB RAM, and 256 GB disk. So one cell has this. Total I have 2 cells, right? Total, what is my capacity of my 2 cells? 64 GB, right? And how many organizations I created? 22. 22 and each is having 2 GB, 44 GB. I totally have a capacity of 64 GB. So basically, you have to do some capacity planning. If you are an administrator, you have to do capacity planning. You should decide how many cells you want, what is the maximum capacity, etc. Right? So I have done all this. I have created users as an administrator. Yeah. Any doubts?
Yeah, sure. You just showed, right, like you are installing Power BI Foundry in Google Cloud, right?
Sorry, your voice is not clear. Can you come close to your mic and speak?
Other now? Would be clear now?
Not so clear, but yeah, I can. Okay, tell me now.
So you just showed us like how to install a Power BI Cloud Foundry in GCP, right?
Correct, correct.
So
I didn't show, but I explained you. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I have to pay VM for GCP and also for Power BI Cloud Foundry, right? So what's the benefit? Now I have to pay 2 cloud provider, right?
Sorry, your voice is not clear. Can you come again? Sorry.
No, my question is, should we need to pay now when you install Power BI Cloud Foundry in GCP? Okay, Google Cloud provider, right?
Can you be a bit louder? Sorry, can you be a bit louder?
No, what I'm asking is, so you install Power BI Cloud Foundry in Google Cloud, right? So now I need to pay for both Power BI Cloud Foundry and also for GCP. So only a VM are created into GCP, right?
Correct,
so
correct.
My cost will go high, right? So what's the benefit then?
Your cost definitely have to pay for the license of Cloud Foundry. Definitely have to pay for the Google Cloud for your usage. Yes, you have to pay for both infrastructure as well as platform. Correct.
So is there any better way?
Mostly what you can do is you can install this Cloud Foundry in your data center itself to save the infrastructure cost.
Okay, so that's what Savis asked, like if you want to do the private cloud, so how I can install Cloud Foundry in my private cloud, in our own data center?
In your own data center, right? I told you, right? So here, just let me show. Yeah. See,
So
on your
you won't get that UI, right? You won't get the Terraform, you won't get the UI App Manager will not be there.
No, we will get. See, in this case, what I told you is Terraform will create this Ops Manager automatically if you are using Google Cloud or AWS. But if you are using something like vSphere, there will be a vSphere image given to you by Cloud Foundry. You can use that image and create a VM in your vCenter. Okay, if you have image, you can create a VM, right? You have to create a VM inside vCenter. Then you will get this Ops Manager VM up. Then you will be able to hit the UI.
Okay, then from that I can create a VM in my private cloud, right?
Yes, you have to create a VM in your vCenter using the image given by Cloud Foundry Pivotal.
Okay.
So, so whatever infrastructure you are using, this is the only step which makes a difference. How you install Ops Manager is what makes a difference. Once you have Ops Manager UI up and running, the rest of the steps are same. You just have to do it through the UI, whether it is Google Cloud or anything. Okay. So we came to today's end. Actually, what I thought is I could show you how to push one application. Only that part is pending. Maybe we are lagging behind by half an hour approximately. Don't worry, the basics are set. So maybe once we start on Monday, I'll speed up a little bit. Not speed up too much. Don't worry, I'll not speed up at all. So I'll show you how to deploy applications, and I'll give you time for pushing the apps onto Cloud Foundry, and I'll give you the details on how to access this Cloud Foundry, whatever I have installed. I'll give you the user logins. Actually, I've created for each user. I got information that there will be 22 participants. For 22 participants, I've created 22 organizations, usernames, and passwords. So on Monday, once we are back, I'll show you one small demo on how to push. We are ready to go ahead and push, and we understand a lot of other things, right?
Hi Shiva, this is Jawahar. Hi, sorry for the
thank you.
Yes,
I'll upload the videos on the same URL. Today also I'll upload the original same video itself. If you find some time, you can go through the video Saturday and Sunday, and by Monday we'll start again.
Shiva, there is a small update here. We will have 2 more participants added along with the 22 participants. I will be sharing the details with you.
Okay, so totally 24. Is it? I have to create 24 logins. That's it, right?
Yes, I will share their details shortly, either to you or to Manjunath.
Yeah, Manjunath, you can share to Manjunath. He will communicate back to me. So for me, I need information. I have to create 2 more logins.
Correct. Yes.
I created 22 logins. I will create 2 more logins.
You will have to create 3 more logins if I'm not wrong. Yeah.
3 more, right? 25 is it?
Yes.
25 total.
Yes.
Sure, I'll create 3 more logins. Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. That's all for today. If you have any queries, I will talk. Otherwise, we can end up. Yeah.
Shiva, just quick question. Can you go back to the slide, last slide? Yeah, this, wait. No, the slide where you had cells defined.
Oh. Yes, here. Tell me.
Yeah, right. So now you talked about apps manager, and you talked about so many organizations, so many spaces, right? Where does this fit in this picture? Where does all those things fit in the picture?
Okay, very good. So basically, the information about organizations, spaces, everything will be inside CCDB. See, organizations are logical entities. There's nothing like a physical. We are just allocating logical quotas and all, right? So all the information, how many organizations are there, spaces are there, whatever users I created. Users I'll be, of course, creating on UAA server, right? We'll discuss about that. But all the information about organizations, quotas, spaces, everything will be in CCDB. And Apps Manager is an application which is having a UI, and that is running in the containers inside your cells.
So that's a separate container, is it?
Separate application running inside multiple containers. So actually, I'll show you quickly. Right now, you can see I'm logged in as admin, and there's a organization called a system, and there's a space inside it called a system. There are two space, system space, and here you can see actually there is something called as Apps Manager green, 2 instances running, is it? Okay. See, is it the same URL to which I used, apps.sys. Yes. So this Apps Manager, this is actually the Apps Manager UI, which is running inside one of the containers in Cloud Foundry.
Okay.
Okay, we'll actually understand how these URLs and all, what are the meaning of this, we'll see later.
Yeah, thanks Shiva.
Thanks for watching. Want to study further? Join our training programs today.